Hi, my name is Reese Randolph, and I am a recreation leader here at West Park. I wanted to let you know that we miss you, and we can't wait to see you soon. Thank you for being a part of our virtual summer program, and I encourage you, always be you.
Hey guys, my name is Kailey, and today I'm going to talk to you about making music while you're at home. The great thing about music is that you can take literally anything you find around your house and you can make some cool sounds with it, and it's music. That's something I did a lot when I was younger and I was bored at home. I would just find random objects around my house and I would see what cool sounds I could make with it, and it helped me pursue my passion for music, and I still do it today to stay entertained. So I hope that you can follow along with this video to learn something new and try something that's fun and you can be creative with. So to start off, just find something around your house that you can make some cool sounds with. What I'm using today and that you're welcome to use is a bucket, or I have a little pot here, but you can even just use a floor. Or if you have a chair or a wooden stool, use that. You can use anything you want and just be creative with it and just make some music. That's all you need to do. Today I'm going to teach you 2 really simple rhythms that you can use and play along with. So the first one you might recognize. It goes a little bit like this. Now, that's really simple. All I'm doing is going right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Or you can think of it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whatever works for you and helps you learn the beat. So, you might be wondering how I got those 2 different sounds when I was playing the rhythm. Sort of like boom, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap. How do I get the boom and how do I get the clap? So with my bucket, I'm using my bucket to its full potential by using the whole thing to see what different sounds I can make. So I get the boom with the very bottom of the bucket. It has a real nice big bass sound. I also have the rim around the bottom on the edge. And it sounds like a clap or a pop, and that's 2 sounds that I can get out of just this one item that I can find around my house. So again, here's the rhythm. Now, you might get a little bored with it after you play it for a little bit, but what I used to do is I would take a song that this rhythm was in, and I would put my headphones in or plug my speaker up, and I would play along with the song, and it almost makes you feel like you're a part of the band. So try that and have some fun with it. Here's a second rhythm that you can find in music today. Again, it's simple, but it's fun to play. So what I'm playing is right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left. Again, I'm using the bucket to its full potential by using both the very bottom to get the boom and the edges to get the pop. Now, when you're playing a more complicated rhythm, you're not going to get it off on your first try, and that's completely okay. What you need to do, and what helps me a lot, is to just slow down. It's completely fine to just slow down, take a breath, and watch your hands and see what you need to do differently. So you can start it off by playing it like this. I'm still playing right, right, left, right, right, left, but I'm just playing it a little bit slower so that I can relax and learn it and see what I'm doing. 1, practice that, you can get it up to speed and play it even faster, like this. So what I hope you learned from this video today is that you can take literally any object around your house and you can use those objects to make some really cool music and cool rhythms, and you can just have fun. I hope you guys stay safe, have a great summer, and thank you for your time.
Welcome to the Metro Parks in Nashville YouTube channel. My name is Anthony Cooper, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to create your own t-shirt design. Alright, now that we all have our materials collected, it's time to start drawing our design. Since most of you are fairly new to this process, I would recommend choosing a shape or some kind of letter, maybe your initials. But once you've done it a few times, you should be able to create more complex and be more creative with your artwork. As you can see, I'm drawing a small star here, and a little later I'll draw a larger star. The small star is going to be a filled object, so everything inside the small star will be filled with ink. The larger star is going to be an outline, so it's just going to be an outline of the shape. Alright, so we got to get to that extra step when creating an outline for our star. What we'll do is just trace the star once more and create cut lines. I know you're anxious to get started on your project, so let's go ahead and speed through mine. Alright, now it's time to cut out the stars. The inside of the field star, which is the small star, you can cut that however you like to. It doesn't matter if you damage the inside of that star because it's not going to be there in the end product. However, on the larger star, when we're cutting the outline out, you want to make sure you cut directly on the lines. Come from outside of the star. You don't want to cut from the inside on this one because the big star is actually going to act as a shield for the ink, and it's going to create its own stencil when applying the ink, so you don't want to mess up the big star. I'm just going to trim the edges here, and once I'm done trimming it, I'm going to set it inside the stencil star. Since I cut from the outside for the big star, I want to make sure I patch that up, so I'm just going to use some clear tape and tape up that line so when I'm painting, none of the paint can get through. Now that I have everything all taped up, I'm going to just use a different color background just so you can see how it would look if I had both of the stars with a filled background. Once adding the larger star, you'll see what it'll look like with an outline, with the orange acting as the outline. Okay, I got my design placed on my shirt where I want it. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to apply glue to the back side of my sheet. That way it'll stick to my shirt while I'm printing. I'm going to do this also for the large star that's in the center of my sheet because I don't want that moving while I'm printing as well. Alright, so this next step is optional. It's completely up to you if you want to do it. I like to use painter's tape to mask off the sides of my sheet just so I don't get paint where it's not intended to be. Alright, now I'm going to glue the back of the big star, and I'm going to place it right in the design where it needs to be. Alright, we got everything laid out and ready to paint. I'm going to use white paint because it's a great contrast for dark colored shirts. I'm also going to use a foam brush. You can use a regular paintbrush if you like, or you can use your finger, whatever floats your boat. Using the foam brush, I'm just going to lightly dab the stencil using nice gentle strokes. You don't want to be too aggressive because the paper will start to rise up, and if that happens, you'll start getting ink underneath the paper and underneath the stencil, and it'll cause bleeding of the ink. Now that I've completely covered my stencil with paint, I want to make sure I carefully remove the tape so I can peel up that paper and we'll see our design on the shirt. Alright, so the last thing to do is to let it dry. I'm going to dry mine using the heat gun. You can use a blow dryer if you like, or you can just let it sit outside in the sun. You'll know when it's ready to be worn once it's dry to touch.
Hey guys, we're back again with another episode of Virtual Programming with Metro Parks and Recreation. I'm John Dodson, and we've got a couple other people with us today, Jon Michael and Lisa King behind the camera. We're at Hamilton Creek today out at the lake, and we're going to be talking about kayaking and water sports, just safety and the different kind of boats, paddles, that kind of thing. Remember, I do outdoor recreation, and we have lots of programming for this kind of stuff, so if you're interested, please just get on our website, check it out, and come out and join us.
Hey, I'm Jon Michael. I'm going to talk a little bit about different paddles, kayak paddles, canoe paddles, and stand-up paddleboard paddles. First, we have mostly kayaks here, so we'll talk about kayaks. This is a one-piece, a two-piece, another one-piece that's for whitewater, different boats we'll talk about, a canoe paddle, notice it has one blade versus two, and then a stand-up paddleboard paddle, which is much taller and extended and also has one blade. All right, let's talk about kayak paddles first. They have two blades. We have the shaft, we have the blade, and we'll talk about later the power portion of the blade. Benefit of having a two-piece is you can carry in a car a lot easier. The weakest point on this is the attachment, so that's something to think about. For most of our programs, we have one piece, high visibility, easy to see. Also, there's nothing much to break. Difference in a canoe paddle, there's one blade versus a kayak paddle, which a lot of people prefer to kayak. There's a little bit more control at times. And then one thing with the extendable stand-up paddleboard is you can extend. You can also get these fixed or one piece, but the portion that's most likely to break on these would be the extender.
Okay, John Michael showed you the different kind of paddles. Now we're going to talk about how to hold the paddle properly to have the most fun out there. This is the most important piece of equipment that you got. This is what moves you through the water. If you don't know how to use this, you wind up going in circles or zigzagging around, and it's not as much fun. So the correct way to hold it is just kind of find the middle of the shaft and then drop your arms down where they're comfortable. You don't want them way apart, you don't want them too in close, just nice and right in the middle, okay? And there's a certain way your blade goes. I'm gonna kind of turn around. You want your blade like this. That's what's gonna be pushing the water. And that'll make a little more sense once we get in the water. You don't use this side, that's the back side of the paddle. You wanna use this side.
We're going to talk about life jackets or personal flotation devices. We always use type 3. There's a couple other different types. This is considered a flotation aid. We'll talk about laws later and how you have to have a PFD on the boat. And if you're under 12, you have to wear it as well. This is probably the most important safety measure we'll talk about today. But type 3 PFDs have a little bit more comfort and adjustability. Like you can see on mine, a buckle, a zipper, and I have full range of motion. All right, so we're just gonna put it on real quick. So if you can put it on, just like a vest or a coat, and we'll buddy test. If you could zip it up. Buckles, there's straps that we can check and test. We'll let him do as much as he can on his own. All right, now I would check. Make sure it's not going to come off. You can adjust it from the shoulder as well. And we always keep our PFDs on the whole time. And on our programs, we have a rule with 10 feet, and we would suggest you always wear a PFD, and that includes parents and adults.
It will save your life. Okay, now we're going to talk about the boats, the fun part. There are many different kinds of boats for many different kinds of water. What we're going to talk about right now are boats that go on flat water, which means a lake or a lazy river with no rapids or anything like that. This one over here on the right is a flat water boat with a closed cockpit, so you're sitting down in the boat. This one is an open boat, so you sit on top. They're both made to do exactly the same thing, which is go straight and are not going to turn over very easy. So what's the difference? Why would you want one that you're sitting in and one that you're sitting on top? If you're sitting on top, that's for warm weather. You don't have to worry about getting cold and you're out at the lake and you're just having fun. If you wanted to go when it's a little cooler, you could be down in there, not as much wind, and you can also put a skirt on it that keeps the water from coming over and getting inside your boat. So that's the differences between a sit on top and a sit in kayak. Okay, now we're going to talk about a whitewater boat. Not a big difference, but there are a few differences. You can see that it's shorter, and this is actually a boat that's made to play on the river. You use the features on a river like a standing surfing wave, you can surf on a wave, things like that. You can see it's a sit-in, and this is a spray skirt. This goes up over your legs, and then it fits over the cockpit so you can keep water out of it. If you get really good, you're able to roll the boat. So if you turn over, you can roll right back up and keep going. So a whitewater kayak is not made to go straight. You want to be able to turn this boat quickly, and that's what it's made for. You can see how the bottom's not touching the ground. That means it's going to stay out of the water, and it's called rocker, and that allows the boat to turn easier. It's also made, like I said earlier, that it can turn over, and then you can turn it right back over. Okay, so that's your whitewater boat. All right, next one we're going to discuss is a stand-up paddleboard. This has become very popular in the last few years, and you're seeing them out on the lakes and rivers all the time. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You can see it's kind of like a surfboard. It's flat. It's got a nice covering on the top so you don't slide off of it. it also has a fin. So this fin fits on the bottom down here, and that helps keep your direction. Okay? When you're paddleboarding, you also want to wear a leash. The leash attaches to your ankle, like so, and then the other part attaches to the back of the boat here. So if you fall off, you're still attached to your boat or your stand-up paddleboard.
A couple other features of the stand-up paddleboard, obviously a carrying handle here. There's a couple portions where you can put accessory cord, where you could tie something down that could get wet, small cooler, dry bag, so on and so forth. We always recommend wearing your PFD or life jacket. There's different types of life jackets that you can put around your waist that are inflatable. There's a lot more function with a PFD that is fixed to your body rather than you have to pull.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about stuff you need to do before you get on the water to paddle safely. One thing is always check the weather. You don't want to get out here and it start lightning and thundering and ruin your day, or be so windy that you can't get out there and paddle. Lots of times when it's a windy day, it makes it hard to go where you want to go and not as enjoyable. So check the weather, see what's going on, know what's going to happen that day. Always be prepared. Another important part of any kind of outdoor activity, but since we're talking about paddling, is a float plan. And what that means is just telling someone where you're going. So if you get out there and you did turn over or something crazy happened, somebody would know where you're at. Okay, so always let somebody know where you're going, where you're going to start from, and where you're going to end up, just to be safe.
Okay, we're going to talk about a few strokes, a forward, a reverse, and a sweep. How to go forward, how to turn, how to stop, and how to control your boat. All right, on a forward stroke, we're going to start up towards our feet and exit at our hips. We say CPR sometimes, catch, he's catching the water. He's powering with his blade and he's recovering at his hips for his next stroke. Okay, next stroke is going to be a reverse stroke. This is not much of a power stroke. This is to either slow down or go in reverse. Next stroke is a forward and a reverse sweep, and this is to turn your boat. He's going to make the motion of a C. That's a reverse, so he's starting at his hips and going towards his feet. And that's a forward. He's starting at his feet and going towards his hips. Notice how the shaft of the paddle is horizontal, which helps him turn. Our last stroke is going to be a draw or a sculling draw, and that is to move the boat side to side.